Alright, is the mic working? It seems to be working. Let me get, I guess, U4. I'm not gonna listen to the final, obviously, to the music during the editor work. That would be excruciating. But this should be fine. Let's get the game running. So we're gonna update some of the RC today, again. Last time we did Mediolanum and Lugdunum is also done, as far as I remember. We need to pick maps that still need adjustment. I was thinking we could add an event to Capia, but it already does have a fair amount of events. So it really depends if I feel like it could use another. I do feel like it could, but what we should do is check some of the events with the Colosseum. Just need to find it. This one should get a condition of prosperity. At least 15. And the other one as well. Just need to find it. $25. There you go. So that's a slight tweak to when the messages show up, because I feel like they show up too early. That's one thing. I also want to go into XML, create a new message. For this, it would probably be best if I just show the whole thing. I might consider that. But first I need to actually run my Visual Studio Code. Capia. Found it. Hey, hold on, welcome. Year 4 soundtrack, yes it is. I'll call it as welcome. Which is an interesting choice, because I don't play E4. I do play Hearts of Iron 4, and I do own Stellaris, but I don't enjoy it much. And I do own Wiki 3 and I don't enjoy it much, or rather at all. This is probably my worst gaming purchase ever, because that game is just flat out not for me, like in any way. And I think that actually is not a game for like most people, so I don't even feel I'm that odd for not liking it. But suffice to say, it is not very good. Let's put this here. There you go. Should be a decent setup. Need to add a new message to the end over here. Let's copy this one. I need to figure out how I want to name this event. Which doesn't go bode well for me doing the whole message. But yeah, we need to figure out how I want to call that. Let's go with private economy. Or private sector. I don't know. Go with something else like City of Debauchery. How is it spelled? I'm not native English speaker, I'd have to find that out. But yeah, it's basically gonna be about taverns. I will make the economy baseline a bit harder. And will encourage you having taverns earlier, so that you gain some extra money on the side. That's good. Service economy. That's fine. Doesn't need to be cool, anything super special. Subtitle. Taverns contribute to the private sector. Stills. I need to figure out what this image is, and if I have another one that would fit. Stills. Do I have stills? Yeah, I know. What number is that? 127. What's the victory? Yeah. Let's check some of them out. What? That application doesn't even exist anymore because of Windows stopped updating. Just use Paint, I guess. No. What else do I have? I want to use that. I think it might be corrupted or something. Oh, that's bad. I really shouldn't have issues opening the PNG files though. I don't know why I am having those issues. I can use Paint. Are those stills corrupted? I have no idea why it's causing that. Well, that's not great. So let's check what kind of images I can open. Do I have something that... I had some Vine. Yeah, that was Vine consumption, but not consumption. You could use the money. Deno.png. New side objective. No, let's call it new development instead. Because I don't want to implement a victory message or the completion message for this one. It's just gonna pass, it will work. I'll probably have to send this file for corrections afterwards anyway. Governor. Due to lack of other leisure entertainment venues. We don't need to call it venues. We can call it something else. Options, it's fine. Our citizens would appreciate as possible additions of taverns, which would also help to contribute to the economy of our city. We could also add more text to this. I don't know what I want to come up with. We all need a historical section for this. That's the whole reason I want to add this event, and also to make the economy rebalanced a little bit. Wine is flowing. Our citizens should be kept happy, but expect a rise in crime or general score. Occur. Let's go with message. At historical background. Should add a historical message to this one. It was not daily for everyone, but it was very widespread. But many different drinks, because I want to mention Posca. While regular citizens might enjoy wine mixed with water for daily consumption, it's list drinking pure wine was considered barbaric and a cultural taboo in most cases. Soldiers would often enjoy a drink called Posca instead. This was a drink made up of part water, wine and vinegar. This would keep for longer time before spoiling and also provide soldiers with a new flavor to enhance their palate. Much as in the later periods, however, soldier Posca rations, not unlike grog, would often have low amounts of alcohol in it. One would have to drink immense quantities of the beverage to feel any tangible effects. We could also mention that Capua was a winemaking center, sort of, but also, as with anything else, the Romans kind of inherited the wine drinking, making, as well as just general enjoyment and, you know, it being tied to the culture from the Etruscans and the Greeks. And I think the Etruscans kind of got it from the Greeks. So, we could mention that, but essentially, we already talk about that kind of impact all the time, so I don't even think that's necessary, really. We could talk about something else. Wine would often be kept in clay amphorae, wooden barrels, or animal skins. Most wine also fell into a category of quality where lesser wine would be widely available for the lower classes, while patricians enjoyed special kinds of wine and even flavored types with honey, spices added. In his book De Re Cucinaria. I had to check the author of this. So credit to him, even though he's very long dead. I think it was Cato. Was it? Der Cucinaria. It's from Apicius. Okay. Apicius. It is stated that to improve one's wine quality, I'm actually gonna cover this part in his book De Re Cucinaria by Apicius, where he covers cooking recipes as well as tips for efficient estate and farm management. It is stated that to improve one's wine quality, such ingredients can be added to enhance its flavor and value. On more shady side, as a side note, author then proceeds to also mention that adding vinegar or spices can cover partially spoiled batch of wine and make it fit for selling or consumption. Same goes for treating partially spoiled produce of other kinds, where different methods, usually involving cutting moldy parts off or soaking in vinegar or rubbing with salt, is recommended. Yeah, no standards for these people. As we all know, it's kind of stupid, but you know, he does talk about this. I'll send this off to someone for corrections anyway, but we should make an attempt to have as few mistakes as possible. Did something? We could also cover another thing, which is food preservation was a key part of food economy, which follows mankind from its roots to the present. In the ancient times, food would often be sold fresh at a lower price than food which is preserved and lasts longer, even if the taste itself would be, how to call that, would be worse. Ways of preserving meat and fish would often be salting and pickling. Drying was also a common way to cheaply treat meat or fish. Meat or fish. We should cover some of the other thing about the Roman bread, but I don't know if we want to fit into this message. It's already pretty long. I want to cover that in another message. Let's just keep it as it is, it's fine. Now we need to figure out this. No video, no background image, no music, no speech. Save this. Now it's added to the map itself. I should split this message up a little, it's too long for its own good. It doesn't have the best structuring currently. Those walls of text are very discouraging. So much that I always skip them. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying I need to make it not like that. So it's easier to read, which is a huge deal, it is. But obviously, a lot of people might still not read it, but there are people who do, and they often do talk about it, so I always like to include these, because it's completely optional to read. You don't need to. Yeah, it's pretty long, but this section is completely optional. I think I'm missing... no. Let's change this all. Save that, load it up. I read them all, but
I've heard
can't
there are
remember
jobs
all
here.
the structuring.
I want to be a lion tamer.
Yeah, I mean, it's best if it's structured, because if it's just a wall of text, it will be very hard to read. And also remember. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Let's check the Hammond's message. I made this gap larger. Added a tip section. Seems decent. Now we need to figure out when do we want to add an event. Let's just city population 1500. It should be an early event. Can add an event, condition, city population. Because I love myself. Does it really look like I want another XML in my life? Unless I'm forced to do another XML, I will never, never, ever do another XML. It's already insane. No, no, just no. No, it's too close to coding. I do not do manual labor fit for slaves, and that's what coding is, so I'm not doing that. Ever. I'm doing the bare minimum of coding. Of course, I'll try to make it nice, but only because I don't have an option in life. The moment I have an option, I will always not do XML or any kind of coding. Because I love myself. Population. Condition. Buildings. Only learning 67 key for only the event type multiplier by the average of the subtypes. I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just gonna ignore that. My life is better not trying to understand that. Active buildings. Find a tavern. There you go. And also decline health. There you go. No, I don't care. Yeah, I mean that's fine. That what you wrote there, I am familiar with XML, so like that already looks familiar. But I have this choice that I don't have to do that because I can use the editor UI. And so why would I ever do that to myself? Like, there's not even an option. The whole reason why SaphirX has been redoing the Empire editor, by the way, the custom Empire editor, is because most people cannot do XMLs. Nor do they want to do XMLs because it's fucking torture. So, you know, why would I now go and actively make my life worse by doing that to myself? I do not understand that logic. Well, there is no logic in that. Oh, great. Which I can also import and export anyway. So I don't feel like that's... Like, yeah, I use that for the messages. Yes, I know. Which if we had UI for messages, maybe that would make it kind of worse. But also not really. Like, it's just better to use the UI. I don't want to do another XML. It's already several XMLs and they're pretty hard to keep track of. And again, it forms a massive roadblock for new CC3 creators for Augustus maps. So it's in our best interest to minimize the XML, even if it is versatile. I do understand that once you learn how it works, you can very quickly work with it, yes. But also the learning required is something that will form an artificial obstacle for new people to come into map making, which we should help to reduce. Yeah. That would be kind of useful, wouldn't it? Okay, event is done. I need to make the economy a bit harder. Let's check. The early economy is fine though, I feel like. Right. Yeah, if anything, I should reduce the price on processed goods. We are not adjusting prices for processed goods in this event, I don't think. Stuff is relatively cheap. Let's do 112 for oil. Selling price. Wanna wait for wine. And now we need to check price changes. 2025, that's fine. That's okay. We should add a couple more price changes probably. Raise fines by 2, but then we will reshuffle this one. Change this to sand. Should increase the price of stone at some point. We'll do that at 11. And we should probably add another price rise on iron. Do timber by 4. I'll do 5 and then reduce this one to 5. We could do 8 and 8, that's also fine. Should be fair. Oh, did I start the music? No, it's still running. that's for the events. Let's make a save just so I don't lose the progress for any reason. Now with terrain, we could do some adjustments. I'm not a huge fan of this farmland because it's not very clear. You do need to kind of pixel hunt for it, so it would be best to make it more visible to the naked eye. Not that tile though. There we go. And then this side, I would probably just cancel that. I think there is plenty overall. Now, how many can you fit over here is the real question. It's 1, it's 2, and then 3. But it cuts off there. That should still give you 3 farms, which is good enough for some industry. You could also make oil from this, which I usually do. That is for your oil consumption. It supplies around 120 houses total if you make 6 workshops, which is more than enough for the whole city. You can also make wine for taverns from here, obviously. Now, in other terms, this other shore is a bit tight for... Usually you'd put your sand and clay industry and dock around here. It is a little bit tight, but the idea is to bridge over and use this shore as well for that. So it all depends. I would not hate if it is a bit wider, but the river is already kind of having a shape, and I would totally disrupt if I did that. Plus, usually if you do build on high ground, you don't need this area. You could make clay or sand here, or, you know, there is plenty of water on the map itself. So, shouldn't be a huge deal. What I might do is reduce the farmland here a little, so to provide a couple of spots where you would naturally be inclined to build either the granary or workshops or car depots. Which that's a relatively good design because it makes you not feel awful for wasting farmland. Even though it shouldn't matter, there's plenty, as I mentioned. We could do that around here and down here, possibly. I do also know that there is this, which I haven't highlighted yet. But if I do that, it's gonna increase the farm density, I think. But we can make it a trade-off by then not having this area. I'll add some more trees in a bit. It still does allow you to kind of fit farms in this space, but not everywhere. Which I feel like should be pretty good. This area, I would like to beef it up a little, so that it's more clear that it is in fact here. Could make a gap there, but it's fine as it is, I believe. Maybe that tile can be reduced a little. Shore also is kind of sparse. Normally you don't need to use all the farmland though, which I should adjust. Just a tiny bit. As a question about this, because we could make it a bit wider. No, there were already more models. This is already quite enough for what I want. There were more before and it was doable for sure. Is that this is a third map. It cannot be too brutal, and I don't even use that many models in the RC. This is actually quite a bit more than what I would normally use. So actually I should remove a couple. Because you wouldn't believe the amount of people, they don't know custom maps at all. They come into this and then they are, you know, faced with a single rock in the way of anything, and then they whine about it. So it should be gradual. You cannot just put them against much, because then they will just quit. That's not the goal. The goal is to make them understand the reason for it, which you can only do with gameplay, really. That's fine, why don't you add by tile? Yeah, I can make like the RC hardcore version of whatever you want to call it. We could totally do that, but that's gonna require even further effort, a massive effort to make it really hard. But I could do that in the future. Because the goals for the RC, which you, I don't think you understand, are not to be brutal. Never was. It kind of hurts my soul a little bit, not gonna lie. But making it better will ruin the water. If we do let this exist, there is bridge spots, surely. One doesn't exist. This one does. You could put like temples here, I guess, but I never use this island, but you could potentially. Although you have so many better options. I don't know, why would you? Okay, I'm happy with the cap actions. What I need to do though is put corrections down. I'll quickly do that. next map. Which one do I feel like we want to adjust the most next? Depends. I might do some changes to Tarsus, maybe. Is this the version with the events included? No, this is the one without them. This is the one with the changes. Yeah, so there's the event already. There are already quite a few events in Tarsus. With military, we can't make it much less awkward. I could remove that rock formation to make it more straightforward with defenses and forts. There's this side area now to take care of, but it's nothing really too difficult to figure out. So I don't know what I really want to do with Tarsus, if anything. Because we've already touched upon it, changed it a little. It's nothing really spectacular about it. It's a desert, so that's a thing in itself. Plus you have the mining spots all over the side here. So I do feel like Tarsus already has plenty of character, really. Damascus. There will probably be repetitive rock formations. Yeah, these are pretty similar. Change the middle one. Otherwise, there is the whole thing with water bringing it over, and I do feel like it adds an element of strategy, which I do like. It does force you to make the water go here, which is, you know, relatively close to the invasion point, so you have to guard your aqueduct, otherwise your whole city is always going to be in danger. There's this earthquake to cut off the single aqueduct area that you can use for safe transfer of water, which is fine. What I might want to do is make this cliffside a little bit different. I feel like there's a bit more clutter than I would like. Down here, this is for industry. You can put a lot of mines here, and that's what you should be doing. This is what this area is really for. Damascus is all about the iron. I don't like these repetitive rocks though. That is something we could and probably should fix. If I do this, making a larger rock there is probably good. Then these two are also not great. I might just make it like that instead. It is the same mountain as this one though, so we can do something like that. This doesn't fit anything though. It'd be nice if we could at least fit mine in here. There's a connection already, so I'm not gonna make this one a connection. What I might do instead is make this a rock. There is like 5 of these same rocks. ones around the lake are also not the greatest thing. I like the small ones though. The first message in Ostia, you should add a note underneath: the forced walkers are not intended, but connected cities are bad. Probably, but that's more for the tutorial I want to do. But yes, that's not a bad idea actually. However, it's fine once we get that ultimate roadblock from Sephiroth, once he finds the time to do it. That's gonna change everything. But I should restructure that message because there is a note about forced walkers anyway I want to add to that. And who knows when we get the roadblock, so we might as well do that. I'm gonna just quickly make a save on this. Let's go to Ostia. I'll have to do the German version later. Messages for Ostia. Yeah, that's the goal, is to make a proper Augustus tutorial, but I need the ultimate roadblock to be implemented first, because I want to include that in that tutorial, so that, you know, we already make people learn all the things. Obviously, a lot of it is gonna be optional, so that you don't have to play in a specific way, but there should be information in how to play efficiently right away. No need to just, you know, it being obscure, because a lot of it isn't intuitive for a lot of people. So once we have that, I can proceed with that. I've had some earlier versions for testing, but we agreed that there needs to be some changes, and there's been a lot of changes since then. So I will probably remake that from scratch. I also need flash blocks though for art assets, because I really can't make the art capture as he's done it. So that's gonna be essential. I need to respond to something, so just give me a sec. Of course, ultimate roadblock will not make connected cities better than not connecting ones. It will just make them less bad. No, it will basically mean you can have interconnected city work exactly as well as not interconnected city, as long as you use the roadblock, obviously. But you can separate areas of the city exactly the same as we do it, with not interconnecting it, but you use the roadblock instead. Essentially, it's a pretty small change, because it's just for autism reasons, really. as you can already do exactly the same thing as the automated block gives you. It's just that you don't put that one tile of road connecting your different areas of the city together. But I understand that for a lot of people that is a crucial thing which is not intuitive, and that's why it needs to be added. However, you already can do the same thing. It's just that, you know, a lot of people just don't want to, can't comprehend, or just can't understand that you can't trust people to deliver. Well, it's not just spending the money, it's about the cohesion. A lot of people build a cohesive city because it feels natural. That's the reason for it. It makes no sense gameplay-wise because it's effectively bad for you to do that, because people will make awful decisions when given options where to go. And they often will. Which is why we don't do that. But for a new player, that's not intuitive. And also for even not just new players, but a lot of like the sandbox people, they don't understand that. Even devs, when you look at how they build the cities for showcases, they'll often have a full highway connecting the whole city, and then you see cars from like a farm going 100 tiles. Yes, it's by a highway, but it doesn't mean the farm is not at 20% efficiency when it's delivering to a granary that's very far away. Then you have like, you know, 6 towering granaries over something for no reason. Because they also don't understand that it's why your markets suck. It's not, I need more granaries. No, you want less granaries. 1 granary is perfectly fine. It's the options that's causing the markets to not get it. Or, you know, not stacking that granary with depots, obviously. But those kind of things you need to figure out. And some people never pass that stage. Oh, what do you want to do? Yep, it's stated already. Exactly, I already added that, I forgot. By the way, 100 tiles, 2 highway times 8 cities Grand Temple, 24, 60% efficiency, the triple of what you said. Okay. Yeah, if it's 100 tiles, but if you have a cities temple, it also obviously helps, yeah. Anyway, that was just an example. It's not like I knew the numbers from the top of my head, but I've seen that, and I've seen even worse than that on the, massive maps. Because that is usually not as crow flies. They have turns in the city or whatever, and so the car can take even more than that. Because there is market range, yes, but also they just see it as crow flies, so it might be path that's as crow flies is like 30 tiles, but physically they need to traverse like 200, and they will do that if, you allow them to. I'll see Damascus. Yeah, I mean, Damascus, that's kind of neat there. But you can use depots for the main granary when you import stuff and just shove it into whenever you want. Really. You don't need to use the main granary for everything. You could, but, it's fine. As long as you, again, don't interconnect it. Those choices are bad. Those choices... minimize delays and increase efficiency. Currently, this can be done with... Yeah, that's Spencer. Welcome. Oh no, it's someone different. Sorry, we have another viewer. Similar name. Rasputin. Welcome. Let me some Season 3, it's so refreshing to know the Augustus team is still active in developing it, of course. It is. They earn nothing for it, so it is truly a labor of love. Or, we have another term for it. It's called slavery, because they are using significant part of their daily effort towards something they do not get paid for. And, people are enjoying it, that's great, but like, as with any other project, I feel like that is a significant demotivator. Because in this day and age, whoever does something for free, tell me. Because yeah, amongst normal people that's normal, but not in this environment. So players should definitely be glad they have the devs and they are active as they are. Even though obviously not a lot of them have the time all the time. With leaving gaps in the road network as to prohibit destination walkers from going from one area of the map to another. In the future, this will be possible with the ultimate roadblock, which will allow players to block destination walkers specifically. I want to mention something else. What was that? save. I'm gonna also put that into corrections. I'm gonna import it already. I'm gonna get some corrections later. Some errors. Should be fine though. I don't think we want to adjust Ostia in any way. Hey Mario, welcome. No, it's the Conquer campaign, which is like 2 years old. Doing an update to it. The stream title says it, and have you not played it still? Maybe you should. But welcome. Long time no see. This is Ostia. This is the first map. We adjusted Syracuse a little bit, but nothing major and doesn't need major adjustments. I feel like it's fine as it is. Really, I've seen some like cursed things on it though. When people waste the high ground, they just have to build in a really awkward way, but you know, it's their cross to bear. Same as if you somehow not figure out that, oh, this is my water, I need to bring it like here. And then obviously you might have to bring water like down here, and it's awful because it's in the path of the invasions. But once again, you could have done it better, but you know, since you didn't, now you're stuck with something worse. Hopefully a lesson learned. Because it's not like it's, you know, gonna kill you or anything. You can still redesign it, you can still bring it down here, you can still defend that, it's just gonna be worse. And that's fine. With the food, we've improved the density a little, so it's more clear where the farmland actually is. So that should be fine. There's this area which fits decent amount of stuff. I could reduce the rocks a little. But I think it's fine. This rock is very similar. We changed Mediolanum. Wanna see Mediolanum, Mario? We did it last time. I really like this one. That is gonna be starting stuff, which is a little bit different. Thanks. I don't hear that often, because I'm really not. But, thanks. I'm glad to have you back, at least in some capacity. How are you doing, by the way? You doing fine? We could, I'm not sure if I love this water, but this reservoir does kind of fit in here. I could make this be a little more pronounced. Yeah, I think I like that. What I might not like is this little rock here. What if you remove that? It's probably fine. This is valid with the wolves, that's fine. We want that. But I'm making changes to this map and I don't know if I want to redo the save for it. I could. But is it really necessary for just this thing? I'm playing a farmer game for now, okay. I mean, play whatever you want, obviously, but, you know, there's a bunch of new stuff in Augustus, so you might enjoy it. If you've played it. No, it's peaceful. I can understand that, if it's a game about farming. But you like enemies, don't you? I think you like the invasions. Unless I remember wrong. Is it worth redoing the save just for this rock? I don't think so. Might be worth it for this tile though, I don't like that. No, it's fine. We changed middle and tons. I need to really focus on other maps instead. Carthago Seth played Carthago. He didn't say anything was like something he didn't necessarily like. There are forums which do make the block sites a bit more rigid because everyone kind of builds in the same way on this specific map, but the argument for that is that in no other map you really have that. So having one map like that actually makes sense in a campaign, but it wouldn't be good if it was like every other map or whatever. But Seth also said that he likes the pre-placed buildings, which I know that most people don't, so I don't know. Played Settlers 3 online, nice to have 4,000 soldiers. Settlers 3 online, oh yeah. I think we played it together as well. It was fun. Lagdanum, Mauritius, Tarako, Tarentum. Could obviously reduce the rocks a little over here specifically, but there are paths through that for aqueducts as well as a highway if you want to make a shortcut. You did play together, okay. Then I remember right. That's fine. I need to focus on something that might need changes. Londinium. Londinium's fine as well. I should really think about which maps could use a couple more events instead, because we might want to add some events. What is this? No. That is EU4, it's just a winter thing. Yeah, no, I don't want to listen to that, sorry. Put some Hearts of Iron 4 soundtrack, I guess. Make pixel for water. Not sure what you mean by that, but I should really think about the events. Which map could use some? Would probably add just one, like we did on, Capia. Tinges could use another event, really. There isn't enough going on this map. We did concentrate the farmland a little on these hills. I still think that this should in fact be changed. So that we don't have farmland there. And I might do that. Because usually what happens is people never use this for farming. So they can have water? No. That is water sources. But it's best if you have to think about it a little bit. Because it's up to you to bring it along. And that means planning your aqueducts. It's a lesson. And people should have learned that lesson ever since Syracuse, or even Capua if you really want to play efficiently. So, you know. That's how it should go. I could change this water shape. I'm not a huge fan of it. Too nice. It's not true and you know it. Well, thanks. Let's maybe change this a little bit. Something like that. Then would do fine. I will change this water and I might do it completely elsewhere, in fact. This was an okay spot for it, but we could maybe do better. Not sure if I love that cliff. What if we did this? I think that I like that better. Now the water on the high ground. Need to figure something out. Also this cliffside isn't the best. I would put the water here, or even if I was a rail monster, I'd put it like here, so, or even in the middle, make space and put it here, so that you have to bring it to these places. But I feel like it's better if we put it somewhere else. One thing that I do want to keep in mind though is the block sites. Obviously that's a block site, plus you can have a relatively decent T-shape here, or even narrower block here, doing something like this. Meaning that water should probably come from somewhere over here. Could also make it so that you have to build a Neptune temple, but I think this is a relatively early map, so having that doesn't seem that great. So in hindsight, this area was pretty good for that, because it doesn't intrude on any of the sites too much. It's a bit better. Now with the military, let's remove that. Obviously you could use the bridges to make the enemies go to a kill zone, which is what you should be doing if you want to use this farming. You wall it off here, you wall it off here, make them cross the bridge, set up a kill zone here, meaning that this farmland should be reduced a little. So it feels unnatural when it's like that. It's okay, there's plenty of farmland. Also imports of food, which no one ever uses on this map, because you can just make so much. There's no fishing. I could make a couple of fish spots for the visual variety, but people often confuse it with there being fish available when they are present, but I do like it when we have some fish for just the visual appeal, not for wharfs necessarily. But in regards to the military, as I said, I feel like it's fine. This farmland is a bit cursed. I would probably remove it. We'll see about expanding the farmland in the other area then. We'll keep this though. It's a good one. It emphasizes the choice to really improve your kill zone. I could make this high ground a tiny bit wider. That's fine. Now we need to think about the farmland a bit more. I would put it in this crag. We can put just a couple of farms in here though. It's nothing spectacular. But we probably do want it because I've reduced the amount elsewhere. This should really make you think about it. Which I deem like a good thing. There's been general refinement of that. So now it's way more concentrated. There's also this, which you can fit a lot of farms around. Population. $11,000. But there's wheat, and it's a central map. Plus you have all this as well. Plus there are imports. And you don't do olives or vines, so the farmland is pretty much only for food. No, it's not really that much. It's fine. That's what? That's 32 farms or something. You can fit 32 farms here without issue. Obviously it's less because you also import food. If you want second food type, you could do other farms, which means you could do like 50 to offset that, or you could import a second food type. Rocks look a little bit isolated in the forest. There's also this, I forgot, there's another part. It's not insane for farms, but it can be pretty good. Okay. I feel like I'm fine with this. I could use another event in this map though. There's usually too much money at one point for another. So you change the farming plateaus, like the more the old way, but overall it's way better. Yeah, it's previously it was more challenging to fit because you had to path all the way around. I know. I also was a fan of that, but it was confusing people. Because this is still relatively early, I can't expect them to do too much farm Tetris. This is pretty straightforward. So they should be able to figure this out. Also, farmland, the distribution was changed. This is no longer a thing. This is a bigger farmland, but you don't have this. Which is fine, you know. It's not like it was used much before anyway. It's not a very good area for it, since it's so close to the military. So what the goal is, design-wise with this one, is since this is invasion points, what I kind of want the player to figure out as the like best way. Obviously you can win different way, and I've seen different ways, but the best way and what I would do is when I see invasion points and I see no staircase, wall this off, make this farmland, wall this off, make a bridge, even two if you want. Make the enemy's path to this island. Make them go to this other side. Set up the main kill zone here. And wall this off, obviously. So that you have one main kill zone and they all go here. And you can use this. Yeah. It should fit what I wanted to do better. Obviously, previously it was a bit more challenging. But it's not always, you know, as we discussed, it's not always what we should do. So I feel like this will do better. Yeah, Mega, welcome. What on the bottom right looks like War of the World invading a robot. This one, the tripod, but it's missing its third leg. No, it's mostly due to I like when water flows from somewhere to somewhere, so there is no you know, just isolated stuff, except the springs, obviously. There's no way to model that there. So if I want water on high ground, I have to do that. There's no waterfall or anything like that. But if it's a body of water like this, I like it when it flows somewhere. This should do. I could adjust this. Stuff will add it soon. I could believe that. Events. We should add another event. Which kind of event should it be though? Oh, he goes on a vacation. Yep. He does. Soon. TM. Yeah, Maggie does code. He wanted to help out before, but he's still playing the vanilla campaign because he doesn't have the time to play Caesar. Imagine that, not having time to play Caesar instead of doing literally anything else in your life. Especially since you could breeze through the vanilla campaign in like, what, a week? Not even that. Some people can do it in like 8 hours. But, yeah, we do need more coders, obviously. If you know, do you want to go into the code mines for the project? We do need more warm bodies. As I've told you before, if you want, I can arrange that. We can ask. Mara needs to leave. Okay. Bye-bye. Hello, Nancy, welcome. I do not have time to play Season 3. I have planet-based to play. And streams to watch, yes, but what if you just instead played Caesar, huh? Have you ever thought about that? Wouldn't it be better way to spend your time? Existential stuff. Or map maker for the coders to play something after hard work in the mines. Yeah, but that's a whole another thing. Because, you know, making maps isn't as simple as you might think. A lot of people who start making maps initially make them pretty poorly and you wouldn't really enjoy playing that. Or at least I assume so. There's plenty of that on Haven. You can find maps that are made as like the first experiment and obviously it doesn't go well. Because there's actually a lot of design that goes into making a good map. There are a lot of pitfalls to avoid. A lot of it goes back to like the Julius and what we kind of started doing there. And then it also goes, you know, to the current setup. A lot of people learned it, some didn't. There are variety of maps for all kinds of players, you know, play styles, which is fine. But obviously, I wouldn't be interested in many of the sandbox ones because they provide nothing. It's just completely barren. Anyway, I was thinking about an event, but I need to read something first. There was a guy asking about the Portuguese translation, but I don't know if I can allow another translation because I already want to do German and Polish. It's gonna be a hell to manage all those files because it's not as simple as people think. It's not like translating Augustus at all. I need to build the campaign with those files in it. And if I ever update the campaign, then it will need an update. And it might even need like redoing the lines if I change messages. You know, stuff like that. I mean, that should help. Because I tried to share the knowledge I have with the tutorials. How to build for RC. You mean the feature to do translations? I don't know if that's possible to do. But you are the coder, I don't know. Obviously it would help because currently the way I have to do it is just monstrous. It really takes insane effort and I don't want to do it, but I will because obviously people keep asking for it. Well, keep asking, that's not that much, you know. But every so often there's someone who comes in and then someone was like, can I make a Korean translation? And it's just like, okay, but I'm not gonna be able to tell any mistakes because I don't read Korean, so if I load it up and there are errors, I can't find them. Which is a bit of a problem. Um, Split proud of my first map. Which was it? What's your alias on Haven? You need to tell me that. Never uploaded. Okay, right. Maybe you should. If it's good, that is. You know, obviously you might want to just make it for your own needs, but at that point, if it's good, why not share it with people? I'd like this to be a bit different, but I also don't want to connect it. So what I could do is do this instead. All start at once, which I think is a good sign for it being hard enough. Depends what you aim for. Each map is made for a different purpose. Is it made for people to suffer? In which case, obviously you want to make it really hard. But there is balancing with, you know, money shouldn't be too plentiful, especially not early, because it then saps away player motivation to keep playing on. We talked about it yesterday on Seth's stream. It's a huge part of making an engaging map, which is why I should add an event on this one. Well, that's a weird motivation to get into map making for, but whatever floats your boat, I guess. That reminds me of like the old days when we made maps for Jake to play, and it was exclusively to make him suffer because he would exploit the game to a ridiculous degree. So he needed maps that were like barely possible to have any sort of challenge in Julius. So that's what we did. But then I started doing Marocs and, you know, it went too far. Let's put it that way. Anyway, what about an event? I could add upkeep for lot or Grand Temples, but I don't feel like that's a good way to balance that. Yeah, I mean, obviously you learn. I also would probably absolutely crush maps that once upon a time gave me trouble. It's a natural progression. Also, we have more tools in Augustus now. A lot of maps that were designed before depots were added, for example, are pretty trivial nowadays. But that's fine. You know, new maps are created with those kind of things in mind. It doesn't really make the whole thing worse. Events. I need an event, and I need a good one, and I need it to not feel artificial too much. Just adding price changes could be a thing, but we've already added a few last time, I believe. Yes. So that's okay. That is taxation, but restricting taxes is always a thing, almost like any map kind of tries to do something with that. So I feel like I don't want to yet again restrict taxation, but possibly we could do something else. Mine marble in the center of the map, in giant whole map with depots, no problem at all. Oh yeah, by Hukin, you mean the meteorite impact crater map with swamp all around it, yeah. Because previously you had to use cars, getters, and it was awful. Yeah, I remember. You can make some good maps. Most of them were designed before depots were added though. What kind of event do we want? maybe farms could be penalized somehow. Nice natives. Yeah, he also used like palisades on some maps to make the natives look like they have palisades or whatever. Pretty good. There's gonna be more native assets eventually, which is gonna make the natives even better. Obviously, we also need the ever-present native rework. But yeah, there's gonna be even more of that. I need to figure out the event. Maybe it is fine as it is. Could add a little bit of marble prices, sprinkle it in. Because it is supposed to be a key thing and it doesn't raise naturally, so... Let's add a couple. Stone as well. That should be fine. Do a save. Once yeah, we added corruption last time. That should make a difference. And the eco is still gonna be too simple though, and there is nothing I can really do with imports because there are no imports on Valentia. You just have all the resources because you're supposed to manage quota as well. I feel like the map does achieve that in that it really makes you focus on it and think about how can I maximize the throughput, which is what I do want. But money can still be a bit too plentiful even with limited or, you know, no taxes. Or there is taxes. It depends how much you favor you're willing to sacrifice, and then you'll have to do gifts instead. But essentially, I don't think I want more changes to this one. If anything, I don't know, maybe some training, but the terrain feels fine. What about the military design? Obviously, wall this off, make them go this way, kill zone here, bridge here, make this and this go that way, wall this off. That's what I'd do. Make a main kill zone. You could do it differently, but I mean, it's pretty obviously the best choice. Pretty similar to Tinges in that. Lutetia, the first map where you really should use the bridge is mandatory pretty much. You could defend here, I've seen some cities do it, but it's so inefficient to have another set of defenses. And also it's just not safe because your troops will arrive in, you know, it's gonna take them a while. The main dock area here is fine. I could redesign it, obviously, if I'm not happy with it. I think I am though. Could do a dock here as well, obviously. There is a lighthouse island here. Can bridge over to it, right? Yes. There are no fish, so it's not a wharf spot. It's a dock spot. I've seen people put the lighthouse here. That's intended kind of for that. In regards to the natives, I haven't used the new natives assets on this one yet. We'd have to make a save for these bridges, but we could do that. Not sure if I'm happy with this cliff design, by the way. It does kind of work. Could put in a monument. Yeah, there's native stuff. But you won't see that playing vanilla campaign. Which is why you should probably already win that, so you can play other things. Could add some monuments. Yeah, it's because it's not in the vanilla campaign. It's also pretty new. Just past Damascus. Good. That's good progress. You are getting there. Thinking about the monuments themselves, I would like to put one around here. But not the big one. I think the big one we should save for maps where it really feels natural. Although I could see it looking kind of cool here between the two villages. It will look awkward if I add roads around it though, because they turn into cobblestone roads due to desirability. Which I know, it's weird. But hopefully that's gonna be fixed eventually. Hey, Klongo, welcome. No, it's Lutetia. But there are a ton of natives on this one. It should have the monument go on. I'm gonna look for any rocks that look too similar. After they build the bridges, that's fine. That tile is free. Can be used for a road. could change the dock area a little. So that we have options. The sea trade difficulty shouldn't be a focus of this map, so having more options is fine. How about these rocks? They look fine. This upper area you can use for mining. It's kind of for that, not for much else really. The bridging spots, maybe you should make it more obvious. There's a couple of the alternative huts. In regards to events, there are not that many events on this one. There are some. There is the Divine event, there are the quite a few price changes, changes to the Empire, but no events as such, except is there an event for natives? I think there is. Could do something else. Don't really think that we need to add more events, but we could. But I need some inspiration for like the last one we added today, the historical background. I'd like to have that, so that it's not just, you know, some sort of arbitrary limitation, but rather provide some context, make it at least a little interesting. Could make the economy a bit harder, obviously. some ridiculous price changes. I think there was a Londinium change we need to adjust, which is Vine price. Let's leave it as it is. Save it. I need to create a save for it though. There's a small margin and it gets worse with events, right? It's not like you need to do this, but let's do it anyway. We'll need to create a save for it, but we should also probably think about if we are updating this anyway, we might as well possibly update the terrain yet more, or even add an event, but I feel like there are currently plenty of events on this map. Lindum, Lutetia and Londinium are the maps I felt like are changed the most. You're correct. Because if you look at the original Lindum, Lutetia and Londinium, it's nothing. It's a pancake. There's nothing. What would I do with that? I had to abandon the original design there. I couldn't. I tried really hard to use it, but it wasn't possible to preserve. So as I said in the first mission, or is it, I think it's even in the intro of this one, additional information, I say that it's been completely redone. A little, but there are differences. The water, namely, and also the cliffs. There's usually a big feature, but the trade setup is different, and docks as well, much bigger focus on this one. Farmland is done a bit differently. On Lutetia it's more in smaller clumps. Yeah, I mean Lindum is very different because that is just the main river, which kind of makes you think about water more. Here you can get water from a lot of places. There is a wharf spot, which is blocked. I think it's this one. Too narrow, but I like the archipelago islands. So I actually don't think I'll adjust that. Unless I want to push this by a tile inwards. It's also possible that this one is blocked. I can't quite tell in the editor. I need to test it. Remember the special lake on Londinium? I think it was called Crayon Lake. Yes. This is it. It is very special. It is rumored that anyone who drinks from it will get the Down syndrome. And I think that is the rumors hold true. Yeah, I don't think I've... Well, no, I've adjusted it a little. There is a difference nowadays. But the farmland overall is a bit simpler. Although I don't hate that. This is a bit too straight for my liking. What if we change that a little? No, I don't like the rocks here at all. Just have it like that. Looking for kind of areas like that, but this one is okay for water if you cannot be bothered to use the main water. Speaking of the main water, I should make this a bit more pronounced. Not a huge fan of the native rocks here. Cliffside as well. Are there any places which highways kind of awkwardly fit in? The natives a little bit. Because of the bridge spot. Where is the bridge spot? It's this one, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it does fit here. But there was a tile where... might not have been so good. Don't remember too well. Maybe I changed it already, because I could totally see a full highway with an interruption, even visually there. This whole cliff is a bit weird. I made it like that last time. I could improve upon it a little. For some of the Mausolea oracles or timber industry, depends what you want. So the best spots are on these cliffs so that you don't waste space, but you could, obviously there's a bunch of spots that are usually left. This farmland's usually enough for the initial bit of food, especially if you do also fish. Otherwise with farmland, I think I'm happy with how much there is. You can use a bunch of it for the oil event. In regards to the water, I was thinking about broadening the river by one more tile, but I feel like it's kind of broad enough already. One thing is that there are not too many bridge spots, but there are plenty enough. Although this tile does feel a bit weird. Just not having that is fine. It does open up a potential dock spot, which is bad though. Because that dock spot is not efficient. It would be a player trap if I kept it. But there is further dock spots obviously. But you normally wouldn't consider that. Because the island is clearly the best site. This was a bit tight, but there is enough space to fit everything, so I don't think we need to change that. The military hill, I'm still not a fan of, really. If I add a staircase, it's just gonna result in 4 blocks, so it wouldn't even be that impactful anyway, but I might. For blocking here. These natives got removed. I think I had natives here. Feel like we might want to encourage this path, because you can make a logistics path up here. It's just never really practical, because you don't need it. Let's cut the space a little, but that's fine. So if that path becomes useful, I would probably need to make sure that the staircases are a bit more limited, or make another interruption, which means walling off this section with a cliff, so that you have this area and this area. Because normally what you can do is put a supply hub in the middle, the small block up here. It's pretty good. Then you can have one in this valley and then this one, and they can all take from this, which is, you know, that's like half of your city. And then you put another supply hub here, block, block, block. You are sorted. You don't even need to use this or this or this, which are options, obviously. I've also seen some other things, like someone build a patrician area here. But obviously building amidst the natives is not great. But you could do that. Just thinking about putting down a staircase, but probably not gonna do that. Question is, do I want to break up that setup? I don't think so. So this logistics path is kind of pointless, but you know, it's an option if you do somehow make less efficient use of this space, or you block it, and it suddenly could become important. Especially if you do block in the farmland due to farm spots. Speaking of farm spots, I never use this farmland at all. Once you pacify the natives, there's quite a bit, but obviously it's not super straightforward, so I'd rather use, say, this area instead. Some of the water doesn't look the greatest. It's a bit too much universal, I feel like. Just dragging it up a little bit could go a long way. Although this one does look fine. Problem here is that it's gonna look weird no matter how I cut it, because it's so narrow. Yep. Feel like that's fine. We adjusted divine price, now we need to create a save for this thing. Could also do adjustments on some other map today. How long have we been doing this? Almost 3 hours. I feel like that's enough time. I'm very tired today. I had to wake up at 4, which is ridiculous. So not having that much energy. And honestly, I need to think about conceptualizing some additional events, because I can't just brainstorm it like this. It needs to be well considered. So I'll have to do that by my own, not on a stream. Anyway, gonna thank you for watching, and see you around. Bye.